back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Vitor Belfort hopped on the UFC Unfiltered podcast and told Matt Serra and Jim Norton a bold-faced lie. He said that he's going to be retiring after his fight with Uriah Hall on Sunday, and I'm sorry, but I don't believe it. No, he did announce his retirement. I'm not going to say he's just completely lying. I'm just saying that we've seen fighters announce their retirement all the time and then come back and fight. So a fighter announcing retirement, and especially at this age, you would think, okay, no, he's really serious. He's going to retire. He's 40 years old. The only reason I don't buy it from Vitor Belfort is just last year, not too long ago, Vitor Belfort was talking about a Legends League, and he was saying he didn't have too many fights left on his UFC contract. And then out of left field, he came and announced like a 4 or 5 fight UFC contract, if I'm remembering correctly. So now he's announcing his retirement on the heels of all of that stuff. And, you know, sometimes fighters announce their retirement to kind of boost their fight, and he's in a co-main event. So if you think Vitor Belfort, who is a legend of the sport, the phenom Vitor Belfort is, when you're talking about legend of the sport, regardless of anything, like Vitor Belfort's one of those fucking dudes. He helped build MMA, and you know what I'm saying, much respect on Vitor Belfort's name. So when you've got a guy like that that's a legend of the sport that's going to announce their retirement, it does make you want to make sure you tune in for their last performance. You know, if you think this is going to be the last time you're ever going to see Vitor Belfort, make sure you tune in, because actually, even though I think Vitor will get to see Vitor Belfort at least one other time, whether it's in the UFC or Bellator, this could be his last fight. You have to take him at his word for it somewhat. So he joined the UFC Unfiltered podcast with Matt Serra and Jim Norton, as I said, and broke this news. He said, yep, this is the first place I've told anybody. He said, you cannot tell me that the 40-year-old has a fresh body. Of course it's not the same. I'm very fortunate that I knew how to. I had a lot of experience, and I had the chance to work with the best coaches and fitness products in the world, so I knew how to take care of my body. But I think it's time, you know, I've got kids, and I want to be able to, you know, donate a lot of time and stuff to the sport. I think it's time. I see the sport's growing, and there are great talents. Now, that's another thing. You guys remember Paulo Costa, the fucking young Brazilian Greek goddess coming up? I think he might have called out Vitor recently, like in a pass the torch type of fight. Like, hey, I want a Vitor Belfort fight, you know, and if not, I think he also called out Derek Brunson. But Vitor Belfort in that last line said he's seeing these great talents coming up, you know what I'm saying? So announcing his retirement, that's definitely dope, and especially for this card, it's going to need all the help it can get, as the UFC was unable to find a main event for this card. UFC St. Louis, they were vetting other main events, and they were unable to find one. So Jeremy Stephens versus Doo-Ho Choi, which is a great fight, was promoted to the main event, which means this fight was promoted to the co-main event. So with that being said, it's going to be a dope card, but not the biggest card in the world. It does have Vitor Belfort's retirement fight on it. Who else is on this card off the top of my head? Oh, I think Paige Van Zandt's fighting Jesse Rose Clark on this card, and of course the main event we've already talked about. So with that being said, Vitor Belfort has announced his retirement. Let me know if you guys think this will be the last time we see Vitor Belfort, or if he might show back up in Bellator. I mean, there's a lot of fights for Vitor over in Bellator. Hey, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And if you guys remember him announcing, like, him extending his contract, and am I crazy? Wasn't he just talking about a Legends League last year? I don't know. I'm out.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOWG!